Just drink. I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back finally to a brand new episode of Film on Tap. We apologize for the delay in releasing this new episode. Scheduling's been a bit of a thing, but the fun part is that today we're going to be talking about two huge movies and in depth as well. There are some trailers that came out in the interim between the last couple episodes, but today it's going to be purely focused on these two big movies. So strap in. And of course, there's going to be a bunch of spoilers in this video. So if you have not seen either Sinners or Thunderbolts and you don't want those movies spoiled for you, you're not going to want to listen to or watch the rest of this episode until you do. But without further ado, guys, well, first and foremost, how are you guys? Feels like it's been like 3 months.
I know. Scheduling and germs has delayed our
100%
podcast. You know what's fun though? My sore throat came back this afternoon.
Oh, nice.
I was like,
it came back.
Kidding me? It came back. And what's shitty about our healthcare system is I pay so much a month for insurance. If I go to the walk-in, I'm going to have to pay $70. If I want a strep throat test, just in case, that's going to be another $20. And my fear is I'm going to go to the doctor, have to pay $90, and they'll be like, oh, you actually just have a cold. Go ahead and rest. And then I'll be like, great, I paid you $90 to tell me I'm fine.
That's our tax dollars at work right there, guys.
Freaking
I mean, honestly, you could pretty much say that the medical industry, or at least the medical healthcare system in this country, is fucked, isn't it?
Oh my gosh! Got a little chip on your shoulder?
just a tad. Like I'll just flat out say it. I got fired right before we came on today, and I was like,
he's roaring, people. He's roaring.
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah, but anyways, you know what? You know what'll cheer me up though? We got two awesome ass movies to talk about tonight.
Yeah. You're so positive. I would be like, screw them. I'm talking about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's like this episode's no longer about movies. It's all the reasons why Andre's upset.
It's all the reason why the Void is talking to me right now.
Let's not go there, pal. Well, I've also been on the sick train where I had the good old COVID. That was great. And then I had a week in between where I was like, oh yeah, I feel healthy again. And then this week I had another minor cold. So that was great.
See?
So like it was just, a wonderful gift to me personally. I really love having a cold. It's the best. But still, I'm still chipper. Can still talk. So that's cool. Breathing's an issue. But yeah, other than that, things are pretty solid. Can't complain.
Right,
there you go.
Right. I love being on the bitter train with you guys. It makes me feel good.
Seriously. Next stop, despair and dread. Let's go.
Despair and dread. Boy, if you don't get the fuck out of my face.
All right, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Which one do you want to talk about first? Sinners or Thunderbolts? I'm leaving it up to you. Just decide amongst yourselves.
You know what?
I will be here for a tiebreaker if we need.
Let's end on a good note. Let's go Thunderbolts and Sinners. Thunderbolts and Sinners.
Okay. So you're saying Thunderbolts first. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
You agree?
So Andre,
that was easy.
Okay, so you both want to do Thunderbolts first.
Yeah, either way. I mean, preferably, I would say Sinners.
It's a yes or
first.
No.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
great.
Okay. He's being
All right,
accommodating. That's nice.
Yeah, okay. All right. We love it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Thunderbolts first. This is the brand new Marvel movie. It's basically their anti-hero team-up movie, a little bit of a darker version, well, definitely a much darker version of Guardians of the Galaxy, if you want to frame it that way. And it just came out this weekend. It's been getting a lot of buzz. A lot of people are saying it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame, which seems to be everyone's favorite phrase to use for a Marvel movie that's slightly above shitty these days.
Such a backhanded compliment, isn't it?
Right?
Seriously, it's just like, I don't know. It's just such a lazy statement that means absolutely nothing to me. But we've all seen the movie, obviously, so we're going to be talking about it generally, and then we're going to dive into some spoiler territory. So, first and foremost, like, what were you thinking going into the movie? Were you excited about it? Were you kind of about it? Were you dreading it? And then after seeing the film, like, what were your general thoughts? We'll start with you, Nancy.
I was only about it. I thought I was going to be very lost because you had all these characters coming in that were pulled from the shows. And so I figured it wouldn't be really for me. I was pleasantly surprised, I will say. There's a lot of cool characters. Also, the ending, I think, was really great. There's a lot of awesome metaphors in this movie. There's some pretty cool action. I definitely wouldn't say it's like, yeah, we're back, Marvel. But it was fine. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. And I love Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think she does such a great job every time. And David, I always forget his last name.
Harbour.
Thank you. Yes, and David Harbour. I love everything that he's into. So overall, good movie. Go see it. Don't have super high expectations. It's fine.
Okay. I feel like Nancy got to use her catchphrase already. It's fine. All right. How about you, Andres? Where are we feeling about this one?
See, when the trailers first came out for this, again, I wasn't necessarily too thrilled on the idea of using so many of the characters that were, like, as Nancy said, that they were basically picked from all the Disney Plus shows. So you have 9 hours of content to watch for just one character, and you were just like, okay, this is going to be I hope they do justice for all these characters, but I will say the more I saw some of the trailers and the more of the vibe and the tone that I got as we got closer and closer to the release, I couldn't help but get more and more excited. And God, honestly, I walked into this with the lowest expectations, considering the fact that Phase 4 and Phase 5 just have been very hit or miss. Like, you got great stuff like Deadpool and Wolverine, and then you have stuff like this, which I wouldn't say Marvel is back because it just ebbs and flows, but I will say that for me, this is probably one of the strongest MCU outings for me personally, because it just proves that when there is a director with a vision and a strong central theme all around it, it's not only for me one of the best MCU outings, but it's also just one of the more unique comic book movies as well too. And there was so much really great stuff in it. I mean, like, Florence Pugh is fantastic. I thought David Harbour is always fun. The person that stole the movie for me was Lewis Pullman. I thought he was phenomenal in the role as Bob.
Bob, his second time playing Bob.
But Bob also as other characters we will talk about in spoiler territory as well. Great action set pieces. I think the theme was very consistent all the way through. And also, it just worked to a very emotional and very satisfying third act that, honestly, I left the theater and I just loved it from top to bottom. So there you go.
Can you explain what you mean by MCU outing? You mean
just like MCU installment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like MCU installment in terms of no. It's not the best one, but it certainly will make my top 10, I would say.
Okay. I was just clarifying.
Like your top 10 Marvel ever?
Yeah, my top 10 Marvel MCU. Not necessarily, if we're talking about Marvel in terms of
even
everything,
MCU is a pretty strong statement.
Yeah. MCU, easily top 10 in the MCU.
Okay. All right. I mean, I was pretty just kind of middle of the road about seeing this movie. I was, definitely more excited for this one more so than I was Captain America, just because it looked more fun. B, it looked a little bit more unique. And it just looked like it was having fun. Like, a good part of Marvel films is like when they really kind of just like let loose and be weird and just like actually like embrace a creative vision. And I like that it was, tapping into something a little bit darker while also trying to kind of alleviate that, darkness with some levity that, Marvel can be hit or miss with. But I was excited for this one. And thankfully, like, for the most part, I like this movie a lot. I think that it has a lot going for it. I think the cast is fantastic. I loved watching all of these characters. I liked seeing them flesh out some of them that hadn't really been fleshed out much before. That was great to see. It was great to see some new layers of characters that we've already had, established and fleshed out. It was great seeing more layers of them. I loved all of the stuff, especially in the third act, where I feel like it went to some places I wasn't expecting, and it was a lot more emotional than I was expecting. I mean, this one was definitely more the more like emotionally devastating Marvel films in a lot of ways, and I really appreciated that it wasn't afraid to go to that territory. But it also has a lot of fun here. Like, this, don't get me wrong, this is a very fun team up movie. It takes a lot of kind of rough around the edges characters and helps them all kind of blend and coalesce together in a way that's really fun and dynamic to watch. And for the most part, I enjoy this movie. I have my little issues with it. I don't think it's a perfect film by any stretch, but I think in terms of recent Marvel, this is definitely one of their stronger efforts and one of their more singular efforts, I think, where it actually feels distinct and different. It doesn't feel like assembly line. For me, like, Marvel is back when they make 3 great movies in a row. That's when they're back, in my opinion. So this is a good step forward. But I think they still have a road ahead of them if they really want to be back, as the kids say these days. But I like this one. I didn't love it, but I do think it's an above average Marvel movie.
Hey, and that's completely fair. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where it's really strange to talk about an MCU movie now, because you either have the people that are actively rooting for it or the people that are actively rooting against it. I don't know. The tide seems to change, every other film with Marvel. I mean, people just thought, with Captain America Brave New World, people just thought that it was just flat out over. And then now with Thunderbolts, it's like, yeah, we're back. And it's like, guys, this has always been the way it's been.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I got a little distracted. Craig just dropped off some Peruvian cookies for me. So all I heard was the door opening. I was panicking. I was like, who is breaking into my apartment right now?
It's like, we might have to pause this episode. My life is in danger.
I don't know if you saw me. I was like doing this and pausing. I was like, what's happening? But yeah, now I got Peruvian cookies. But I'm back. Sorry. Yes.
I saw that. You had your little cucumber moment, right?
Cucumber moment? What?
Remember in Thunderbolts where he's like cucumber. I say cucumber to distract myself.
Right, Jesus, okay. Dude, you got to give us a warning when you're doing a deep cut like that. All right,
I was like cucumber.
You just saw the movie.
I'm sorry if I didn't pay close attention to the running cucumber joke. I'm sorry.
It was a good joke, but not one that I remember. I know it was like cucumber. Okay, I can get this. I can get there. No. Okay.
Oh my God. That was one of the funniest moments of the movie for me. And that to me speaks to the tone, essentially. Like, you guys have heard me say it so many times, where it's like, if you get your tone right and you can bounce between a dark moment and a really funny comedic moment and have that feel earned, that will score a lot of points with me. And honestly, I felt like this movie did it in so many ways, in so many capacities, between some of the more serious elements and then throwing an action beat here and there, and then also just having a breather where, Florence Pugh really, in certain scenes, like after even an action scene, Florence Pugh really does have, really does have the real estate in the movie to really just deliver this heart-wrenching scene with David Harbour. And it's, you just kind of don't see this in MCU movies in particular, or even really comic book movies in general.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's been emotional moments in Marvel films like that.
I know, but
you made a balance
not
of
necessarily
humor.
But not one where it's been executed as well as I think it's been done in this one in particular. And also, you don't in other Marvel movies, you don't necessarily get 6 minutes with a character that's basically telling her father, I'm lonely and I need someone. And that is something that ends up really easily on the cutting floor. So I just really appreciated that they had that element in this movie.
I mean, I think it is a good balance.
You guys did it.
Hey, I shut the fuck up. So I gave you the floor.
Thank you. No, but I do think it is a good balance. There are some Marvel movies or MCU movies where the humor is just too much, or it's like very obvious humor. I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning when she's going through the lab, I was a little worried we were gonna get too much of that, because it was kind of like a very jokey scene, but also while she's murdering people, and but I think it balanced out well throughout the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the MVP though, the MVP joke. I'm going now.
It's Tom's turn.
It's my turn to interrupt somebody. No, I still think the best joke of the movie, honestly, one of the best Marvel jokes I've heard in a long time is, we've kind of already touched on spoilers, but like it's Bucky has the best line in the movie where they all go through like their rooms of shame or whatever, and then I think Bob asks them like, "How are you guys doing?" He's like, "Oh, I have a great past. I'm fine."
No worries
I was just like,
there.
that was just perfectly delivered. I was like, that's Marvel humor I like. That just perfect. Like there's other moments where I feel like it was just too much or it just didn't work for me, but that moment was so like pitch perfect that I was like, that is a good use of humor in an otherwise dark moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I did love Yelena's line too, and she's like, "Oh no, Bob helped," and she's like, sees him going over and getting shot up by the machine gun. So that's a good line too.
Yeah, I liked her kind of like sibling-esque relationship with Bob. I liked the way that they cared about each other, and I felt like she connected with him more so than any other team member. So like it was really nicely like emotional, and satisfying. Like when like he's basically like beating himself up in that void world, and she's like hugging him, and they're all trying to hug him to kind of just like save him, which was just a great way of resolving that climax, which is why I just really enjoyed that whole climax, being in that world, being in the void. I just felt like it was visually very unique. And it was different for a Marvel movie. It's not like a beam in the sky. It's not some battle in a city. It's something different. It's not battling a Hulk in a flower field. It's just like, it's
but like that was the entire thing that I was. Oh my goodness. Don't you remember the cherry blossoms?
It's a metaphor.
Like, oh my god.
Awful. Anyways,
but like one of the things that I really love about the third act of this movie in particular, and one of the things I was worried about right off the bat, is that in all the trailers you see New York being destroyed and stuff like that. And I love that for the third act of this movie, even though it feels such grand in scope in terms of what an MCU movie is, when you really think about it, it's actually a very intimate and a very small, contained third act structure, if that makes any sense, where it's all basically taking place in the Sentry's mind, in the Void's mind. And it's one of those things where it's like they could have easily gone down the road of like destruction, but they only did that for like maybe about 5 minutes, and then it just turned into Yelena just diving into the void world, and then all the rest of the Thunderbolts really following up, and then and they really oddly turned it into a character study. Like I thought that was a really great move for the movie, though.
I really appreciated that, especially when Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, was it Valentina? I think that's her name.
Yeah, Valentina.
Where like
also,
she basically
is she Russian? What is she supposed to be? What was the language she was speaking?
That's a solid
Russian?
clue.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, wait, you're not white? Like when they did her flashback, I was like, oh, okay. Did not connect.
All right. It's like you've acclimated well.
Yeah. Good to know. Yeah.
No, anyways, but that scene where she kills Sentry, but then he becomes the Void. Also, I just love the visual look of the Void with the eyes and everything. Like I just such a cool character design. I love the way they visually showed like him making people disappear and everything. It's basically like another version of like being blipped, essentially, where like you're taken to this realm where you can't escape. And I just thought that was like really interesting, and I really liked what it looked like visually. And honestly, the scene where all the Thunderbolts are fighting Sentry for the first time, just the way they do that whole scene where they make it look essentially like one take, had more sauce than anything in a Marvel movie in quite some time, where I was like, okay, this is definitely something else. Like there's care here, there's creative vision here, and this is just sick. Not to mention it shows that Sentry is a character you do not want to fuck with, because he barely looked like he even broke a damn sweat fighting like the 5 of them.
I mean, he was essentially Superman is what she was building. Superman with that, but we can't call him that,
He's Marvel Superman.
Yeah.
He's the overpowered character, but
with a tragic flaw.
Oh my god, with what is called with a schizophrenic personality disorder. It's like, that is a recipe for disaster, guys. But for like a split second, I thought Sentry killed Red Guardian. The second he threw him out the window, I was like, holy crap, did he just kill Red Guardian?
He was like, no, he can come back in. It's fine. I'll just beat you up in here.
I'm just doing it to prove a point. But also, I really love the turn, like how Bob just kind of just goes, well, I wasn't sure about going with the blonde hair, but I don't know, I kind of don't feel it right now. like he was trying so hard to impress, and then literally when the Thunderbolts are like, what's that weird thing you have on your head right now? That doesn't look like you. Yeah. And then just just seeing him in terms of his turn, where all of a sudden he uses that on Valentina, where he's like, you never asked me my opinion, and why do I even need to listen to anything you have to say? And you can see Valentina's like, God damn it, you were so close.
Yeah. Well, and I think going deeper with that, when he's saying like, well, I don't know, should I have dyed my hair? And like, it is a funny beat, but then when you think about it, obviously his past, he had like an abusive father and like no one listening to him. And you could see the wheels start turning of like, wait a minute, this is another person trying to control me and trying to like, control all my moves, and I have no say in this. And so I think maybe that's also what triggered it, was just, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to put myself in this situation again. And almost in a way of like protecting himself of, I'm going to turn into this void, and then, no one can really hurt me.
Yeah. And the void stuff was really, really well done visually, I think. And tell me something. Were you guys surprised the second that Red Guardian helps the little girl, and then within a split second, the girl is blipped, and you were like, yeah. Every member of the audience, it was like, oh, what?
I went, oh, Jesus. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, but I was like, oh, gosh, all right.
Yeah, I think I audibly went, ho! I was like, oh, and she's gone. It's like, and she's gone. Oh, my God. No, I also thought it was a bold move that they like said that like Bob was like a crystal meth addict. I was like, whoa. I was okay.
When they're in the room fighting,
suit? Oh my God!
He's like, I was on meth.
It was so
like,
fun.
Give me a break, guys. I was on meth when I was in the suit.
All right, let's punch the chicken.
I love Bob, honestly. Bob
I think Bob is probably, or Sentry and Void altogether, is probably one of the more well-defined. I wouldn't necessarily call him a villain, but definitely an antagonist of sorts, and definitely something that I would love to see further expanded upon in Doomsday. But honestly, with them showing how much his power sets are, how overpowered are they going to make Doom going forward? Like, that's my question.
Well, you have to also realize that like using him in any sort of capacity runs a huge risk, because like if he goes dark, like you're fucked, like essentially like, he turns the tide and he's no longer on your team. So like, I feel like he's going to be some sort of like third act, like comes in to rescue them, like big, the fuck's the word? Dukes Ex Machina, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Deus Ex. Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, I knew I wasn't pronouncing it right. But like, like someone like kind of like Captain Marvel in what was it, Endgame, or where like she kind of comes in, like destroys that ship. Like that could be essentially what Sentry could be. But I'd love to see him explored more, just because I love Pullman's performance, and I think it's just such an interesting character. But I also appreciated the fact like they fleshed out John Walker a little bit more, who was largely unlikable, but like, purposefully so in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I really love Wyatt Russell as an actor, and I felt like they gave him a lot more to do here, and, showing how everything that went down with him, how he lost his wife, his kid, and how he was trying to play it off like he still had this perfect family, lifestyle with them. I thought that was really interesting. And I kind of like that everyone kind of called him on his shit. Everyone on this team like basically called each other on their shit. And I love that, because that's how you break down the barriers. That's how you get close, and seeing them kind of start all prickly, but then ultimately kind of work together. That's, the whole crux of this whole thing. I thought it was really well done. And even Ghost, someone who visually looks cool, but I never really found to be that interesting of a character back in, what was it? Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like it's been a minute for her. But I thought she was really cool in the movie, even though like, Taskmaster getting shot, like, let's just like, what a waste of a fucking character.
that I think is probably my biggest flaw with the movie, is that Taskmaster was so underutilized yet again.
They just wasted that character. Really.
I think I honestly, to a certain extent, I think it's probably just, I'll be willing to guess that because the fan base did not like what they did with Taskmaster, that they're probably trying to take this version off the board so that they can do the Shield version of Taskmaster, or the one that's more comic book faithful, which is kind of, I don't know, it kind of just shows that they didn't know what they wanted with that character going forward. And it's just, I don't know, it was so disappointing. I love the fact that Olga, what's her name? Olga Kurylenko did show up. Like, her mask did come up and you saw it was her, and you're like, oh, okay, she is there, but Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember that.
What a low bar. She was there. But it's just so funny how everyone saw the trailer. It's like, you're not fooling us. Taskmaster's going to be dead in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's the only scene you see her, and just not in any of the rest of the trailers. So it's like, okay.
It's such a bummer because that character has so much cool potential in terms of like fighting Avengers and just like being able to copy their fighting styles and being a formidable opponent. And they just didn't do any of that shit. It's just so frustrating, but whatever. They're probably going to come out with some new version of it and whatever.
Yeah, and like the way they exploit those powers, even in the comics as well too, where it's like Taskmaster is not only just someone who's able to replicate moves or fighting styles and stuff like that, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you have a task and it's something that can be viewed on YouTube or something, like someone just going, hey, here's how to pick a lock or something like that. Like, they do stuff in the comics where all of a sudden Taskmaster is like, oh, I saw this thing on YouTube and I can easily replicate it. So I thought they could have had so much fun with that, and just boom. It was the Jimmy Olsen in Batman versus Superman all over again. This really great character that you have all this storytelling opportunity. We're just going to blow his head right off.
Yeah. R.I.P. Taskmaster.
He deserved better.
Yeah.
But I did think it was hilarious that the whole Thunderbolts thing came from her soccer team. It had nothing to do with like anything else other than her soccer team. I was like, oh, that's very clever. I see what you did.
Oh, yeah. It was a great way of explaining it. But what did you guys think of the post-credit sequences?
Well, I called it. Where, if you paid attention to the credits, you could have called it, which I called it out. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of spoils it. But I still enjoyed the tease at the end, even though I figured that's what it was going to have to do with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking about it. We're saying what it is.
Yeah. Fantastic Four's coming, baby.
Okay.
Fantastic Four.
Jesus Christ. All right.
In there.
And that was the moment Andres got sick.
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just miss where post-credit scenes actually meant something, where you get this big news, thinking back to Iron Man when we first learned that we were going to get an Avengers movie. It's like, I miss that. Whereas when I see the Fantastic Four thing, it's like, well, yeah, we're getting a movie and everything's connected. So that's not a surprise or shocking that they're showing up at the end of this. So I just wish it was, I don't know. Either just wish they would be more clever with it, or, space these movies out long enough where this is announcing that we're going to get that movie.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel like they could have saved this post-credit sequence for the end of Fantastic Four, and I think it would have meant so much more, because then we would have gotten to know those characters, whereas like now it's sort of almost that we know these characters in a very periphery way more than anything else. And it's just more of, we know they're going to survive the end of Fantastic Four, and they're probably going to end up in this universe. So honestly, I kind of thought that was a very weird thing to do. And then also on top of that, I mean, this is just one of those things that I noticed as a film freak as I am right now. But the second that, like, the movie as a whole looks really beautiful, I think it was shot very well. And then when it came to that post-credit sequence, I was
Russo
like,
shot it.
Yeah, it looks like shit. Like, I was like, man, what the focal lengths are all over the place. It looks as generic as a Russo brothers movie does. So
yeah, I don't know if they were trying to go for that like old school 50s looking thing, but I was like, that's kind of what it looks like they were trying to do, but it just wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
it wasn't great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, but I don't know. It's like they haven't made anything good since Endgame. So hopefully if they come back to Marvel, they'll be able to make some good movies again, but I don't know. But anyway, the credit scene was just, I didn't care for the credit scene. I just thought it was stupid.
It was fun for fun.
Yeah,
of no importance.
It would be a lot more fun if Marvel actually did get Wheaties to put the Thunderbolts on a Wheaties box in actual stores, but it's more like a promotional thing. So, it's all right. You got halfway there.
Yeah. But did you guys have any issues with the movie aside from Taskmaster? Anything that kind of held it back for you?
I think a few jarring edits here and there for me is kind of one of the biggest things. Like it's all really well crafted all around, but sometimes the transitions between scenes can get a little jarring, and sometimes scenes just end like that, and then you're just like, oh, okay, so we're just gonna end it with with Walker and Yelena and everybody else just eating this berry, and then it just cuts to the next day. It's like it was a little jarring at points, but sometimes that's what you get with a Marvel movie.
Yeah, the second act I felt like was a little muddled. It kind of just felt a little bit all over the place, a little like unfocused. Like I just feel like the team kind of like getting together and, I guess bonding, if you want to call it that. I just feel like it just felt very like jumbled together, like where it didn't feel very like cohesive. And then finally in the third act, I felt like everything kind of came together and, started firing on all cylinders. But I think the thing that we haven't touched on, something that I really appreciated about this movie though, kind of heading a little bit back more into positive town, is that so much of this movie is done practically. And I really want to draw attention to that because they've shown it off in a lot of like the behind the scenes featurettes of like all the practical stunts they did with, Florence Pugh jumping off that building or actually blowing up that floor of a building, which I genuinely thought was CGI, but it was actually a real explosion. And a lot of these in-camera effects that they're doing for these action sequences, like it makes a difference. It makes it feel more grounded and real and immersive. And I just wish that more Marvel's movies did that because, we've become so overly reliant on CGI and special effects. And of course, those things are still in this movie, but not nearly to the degree that they usually are with a Marvel movie, which is why I think this felt so different and way more immersive. And like the action sequences were just such a step above what we've gotten in recent memory with Marvel. So definitely wanted to, call that out because I really appreciated that. Like I really noticed it. It was really great.
Oh yeah, and especially with Bucky's convoy rescue as well, where he just pops up going full Terminator 2. The second that he took the shotgun and he cocked it with one hand, I was like, oh, cool. they're totally channeling T2 in this moment right now.
That was a great scene. Loved it.
So great.
All right. Well, before we move on to our next movie, what would you guys give this movie out of 5 pints?
I'm going to go 3.5. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. I'm going to go 3.5.
You're going to go 3.5?
What a weird way to cut to me, man.
Yeah, we don't do a whole soliloquy of why. We're just like 3.5 done.
When we were all saying little things, even my little rant about practical effects. Now you cut. All right, whatever.
There you go.
Whatever. How about you, Andres?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. Listen, I'm gonna still keep going on, even if I'm a small little screen right there. Yep. But for me, this is easily a 4.5 for me. I really
4.5. 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. You were not talking like a 4.5, man.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Well, sorry I fooled you there, but I really enjoyed it. I have problems here and there, but it's not perfect. And I don't think that this MCU movie it nails everything out of the park, but everything that's in there is so damn good. And everything that's in there is so well crafted and well executed in terms of the theme. Honestly, just all that stuff really, really, really spoke to me, and I really loved what they had to say. And honestly, it's one of those things where, I mean, finally a comic book movie got me to feel something again, and I really enjoyed this quite a bit. Like even when I was putting in my rankings for in the MCU slate, it literally made the top 10. So yeah, I can't wait to go see it again.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's the best one since Guardians 3. If I have to, put it there. I think that was definitely the last like great Marvel movie that I saw for sure. But yeah, definitely above average Marvel. Please make movies, more movies like this. That'd be great. Hopefully Fantastic Four continues this, trend of different, more unique films. I'm really excited for that one. Hope it's as good as I think it's going to be. We shall see come the summer. But now we're moving on to like the movie of the year so far, what it seems like in terms of audience reception, critical reception, box office. I mean, this movie's doing numbers. It is just taking the world by storm. And that movie, of course, is Ryan Coogler's Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. This movie is just like a powerhouse. It has just been a huge hit with audiences and critics. It's doing really well at the box office. I mean, for an original horror film, it's just doing crazy numbers. And it's just been kind of just this phenomenon frankly. And so I'm really excited to talk about this one with you guys because, going into this movie, I had heard legitimately nothing but incredible things about this movie. Everyone's calling it, a masterpiece.
I thought you were saying you heard nothing.
No, literally,
it's just word about.
I was like, okay.
I went into this movie with like sky high expectations, where I'm just like, okay, if this movie is like less than amazing, I'm gonna be fucking bummed. But I'm excited to talk about this one with you guys. So, going into the film, what were your thoughts? What were you feeling? And then after leaving it, what were your general thoughts before we dive into spoiler territory? Andres, this time you start.
Yeah. Ryan Coogler, sign me up. Vampires, sign me up. A period piece that has all three of these elements. I was so fucking there. And from when we were speaking about it way back when the first trailer came out, I was really excited for it. And the cast all together sounded fantastic. So honestly, I was so hyped to go see this movie. I even went out of my way to go to an IMAX GT that basically showed the movie in its full aspect ratio on a 2-story screen, at least an hour away. It took a whole group of me and my friends and my coworkers and such. And honestly, it was such a great time in the movies. Like, this is the type of movie that you go for an escape. And this is the type of movie that you go, you know what? That was something different. That was something I had never seen before, executed really well. And also on that big giant ass IMAX screen. Like, Coogler really does know how to frame action, and he really does know how to make beautiful looking imagery, but also on top of that, really kind of thread such a really great narrative needle in terms of blending horror and music history into sort of one really great thing. And honestly, I fucking loved this movie. Like, top to bottom, I loved this movie.
Nancy, would you like to follow that?
Yes, I would. No, I was very excited for this movie. I will say, when we reviewed the trailer, I was still pissed and bitter about it.
I still stand by it. I still stand by it.
I agree. It would have been better had we not seen certain things, but it would have been better, but it didn't ruin it for me, which is great. Because that's what I was really worried about. I was like, oh, did you just mess this up for me? Because I was so excited about this. I also love all the memes going around where it's like, this is what I mean when I say I want a pair of Jordans. That was my favorite. I was like, yes, great. Exactly. Yes. But no, this is such a good horror film, and it's such a good just film period done. It's very beautiful. There's so much history in this, and I really appreciate that Ryan Coogler took the time to do his research in very little details. We even had tamales up in this bitch. I was like, yes, represent the people. Yeah, so there was a lot of metaphors in it. There was a lot of history in it. What I love about this movie is that it definitely has layers, and the more you see it, the multiple times that you see it, you get more and more and more from this movie. And I just think it builds on itself so well. The action sequences are great. I thought they were great. The characters were fantastic. My only qualm with the movie, which, Tom, I know you're going to hate me for this. I'm sorry. It's just too slow. It's too slow in the beginning. I'm sorry.
No.
Too slow in the beginning. It has great moments, which kept me in it.
Why, Nancy? Why? You're making me use my sleeping voice. Why you know that?
You sound like...
why you know that?
Oh, you sounded like what's his face at first. Or from It's a Wonderful Life. What's his name? Freaking name, my brain. It's a Wonderful Life.
Jimmy Stewart?
Yes, thank you. You sounded like Jimmy Stewart.
Really?
You're like, what? Why?
Now I feel like if I was higher pitched, you know, stay.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, it had great moments where it kept me in the back.
What a stupid path to go down.
But yeah, it had great moments where it kept me entertained.
Now I can't stop imagining Jimmy Stewart as a fucking vampire.
Vampire?
I'm thirsty.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying.
I don't
The
either.
beginning. Slow, Tom. I'm sorry. It was slow.
I'm sorry. When Jimmy Stewart takes over, he takes over. I'm sorry.
Got possessed by Jimmy Stewart.
We're here to party.
We're here to get down.
Get down.
Now,
oh, which you just reminded me. Yes, this movie has one of the best music scenes that I've ever seen in my life. Thank you. That reminded me. But yes, the beginning's too slow. Sorry, Tom. It's too slow.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you there. I think that the beginning is
still doing it.
I can't shake the voice.
I think I'm just gonna have to disagree with you.
Shut the fuck
I judge you.
You're losing a lot of men.
For those of you who don't know, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Please see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Oh my God. I'm here to judge your character. Jesus, what Sinners? Right, Sinners.
Yeah,
got it.
Sinners.
Okay. So obviously I already said that I went into this movie with really big expectations, and I have been in the boat before where I've seen, a Ryan Coogler movie that I liked, but didn't love it nearly as much as other people did. So I was a little bit, worried about that happening again, but no shot that happened here. I loved this movie. I was floored by how much I loved this movie from beginning to end. It's just such an immaculately made, performed, written film that I was just so immersed in this world and these characters. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking movie, but also the story is just so engaging and interesting. And it's not just a vampire movie. Yes, it has those fun elements. It's a fun horror movie for sure. And it's a great communal experience too. My theater ate it up. Like, it was a great, community watch. But it also really has some really richly drawn characters, a great sense of history. And I know, Nancy, you thought the first half of it was a little bit slow, but I loved that whole setup because I love the performances. I meant the first act, I guess, if you want to say.
First half.
All right.
Do that.
All right.
Judging you on the first half.
It was a little slow. But yeah, I really enjoyed the introduction to both of Michael B. Jordan's characters, Smoke and Stack, which fucking chef's kiss to those names. So great.
So good.
And just from the costume design to the storytelling here, the camera work, the cinematography is beautiful in this movie. And I'm going to actually be able to see this in IMAX next week in the 70 millimeter huge screen, the way like that it's supposed to be seen, which I'm super excited about. Even though apparently, Nancy, you have a very different definition of IMAX.
Sorry, not gonna. But what did I say? I'm not gonna pay $30 extra.
I'm not gonna pay $30 to see a little extra sky and trees.
Exactly.
That may be the most reductive description of IMAX I've ever heard.
Listen, I pay my, whatever you call it, subscription. It's $20. I'm poor, okay? Can't pay an extra for IMAX.
Well, if you have A-list, you get that for free.
I don't have A-list, sir. I have
gotta get
Regal.
that A-list. Regal,
boo.
The closest
A-list is now 4 movies.
Yeah, A-list, you get 4 reservations now.
Excuse me. The closest AMC is 30 minutes away, whereas a Regal, there's 5 minutes from me.
It's worth the extra time.
That's what I'm going for. Listen, what I need is for AMC to buy Regal so that I can just merge everything and then I can see both. Okay? Get on it, AMC. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure they'll be getting right on it. They'll get their crack team together.
They're definitely hankering for some money right now, right?
Sure.
Question mark?
That was not a good joke, Andres.
No, it was not.
Oh no, now he's talking to himself as Jimmy Stewart. We've cracked him. Oh no.
He says,
you're horrible.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, but now that we've kind of given our general thoughts about the movie, gotten that out of the way, like what are some of the things that really stood out to you? You can dive into spoilers. Like we could talk about the scene. Like we have to talk about the scene, the one take kind of music through the year scene. I feel like we have to talk about.
Before that though, let me say, I know this movie is called Sinners, But good Lord, I did not know this was going to be so sensual.
It's a very horny movie. It's a very horny movie.
God, yeah.
So if that's your vibe, horny vampires, this is the movie for you. That one line from Haley Steinfeld that's going around, I was
the things that came out of her mouth in this movie, my jaw dropped.
I was clutching my pearls. I was like, goodness, I was not expecting her to say those things. So I was like, kudos to you. Loved it.
I even love that Michael B. Jordan even at certain points is like, don't say that out loud.
People can hear you.
Fucking wild, dude. Wild.
That was great. Oh man, even the sex scene when she ends up biting him. I feel like at that point he's just like, well, this is how I gotta go. This is how I gotta go.
Not the worst way to go. I mean, could be a lot worse.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like oh my god, they like the audience freaked out during the sex scene where all of a sudden he's like, "Is that spit?" It's like, "Yeah, you want?"
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like, "Oh my god!" It's like,
"Oh god, that was."
I was
wild.
not expecting that. I was not expecting that. That threw me. I was like, "Oh, okay, we're going there. We're going there with that." Oh, and then when he's explaining by a certain act, I'll keep it clean as much as I can. By eating an ice cream, I was like, what is happening right now? I was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
But you know what? I appreciate it. I was like, all right, they're going full throttle.
Look, there's something in this movie for everybody.
Yeah.
Yep, that is true. That is true. And I appreciate it 10 out of 10 for sensuality.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then also like even with I forget which the two has the relationship with which of the two Jordans has the relationship with his with the ex-wife who
baby mama.
Yeah, the baby mama.
Like I think it's Smoke.
I think you're right. I think it is Smoke.
I think so. Yeah.
But what I did really like about that relationship as well too is that they didn't necessarily go the Hollywood route with it where it's like, oh, let's just get someone that looks almost as cut as Michael B. Jordan, and of course it's going to match. And then, of course.
What? That was a good time to do it. Fuck you.
Yeah,
there you go. But I do love the fact that did look like a couple from that era.
No, you don't deserve it.
No, I don't deserve it anymore.
You know what? This is a full team discussion now. We're staying on threes. We're staying on threes.
We're going to stay on the threes.
Stay on threes. We're keeping it on the 3s and 2s.
Yeah, but I really love how just all the ambient storytelling that's even in the movie, just in terms of the set dressing, the decoration of the characters, and like even just down to Smoke and Stack looking completely different. And like someone was called the costume designer pointed out that Smoke is actually dressed up in very much attire that belongs to the Italian mob. And then,
and then one was Irish, right?
Something like that. And then one was the Irish mob. And that's one of those things where you're like, yeah, in that point in Chicago, it's like, yeah, that would have made sense. And of course, that's how they would have made all their money. But man, and just also just the small little storytelling elements of like, Smoke going back to the house and then seeing the grave for his dead child out there, and it wasn't spelled out so much. It was only spelled out in like very few words here and there, and I really appreciated that worked up to such a satisfying and emotional conclusion with him and the ghost. But I also do love that it's just like there's that small little moment where the guy's like, listen, you'll let me go, right? Bong. It's like you're ruining this moment for us, all right? Let me have this. Yeah, but God, it's such a well-crafted movie altogether, and like there was never a moment that took me out of it, even when you included elements from other time eras.
Really go to the scene. Go to the scene.
I was going to say, are we talking about this scene? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was trying to reel it back there.
I posed this shit like 10 minutes ago.
Let's get back to it. Get back to it.
I was shocked by how well that scene worked. Like, I feel like in another director's hands, that could have been so out of place and so pretentious. But the way that they implemented that, the way Coogler shot that was just beautiful, and just like it was gorgeous. That's the scene I think I'm looking forward to seeing the most in IMAX, is like seeing that scene, because in the theater I saw it was just like it just took my breath away. I was like, holy shit, this movie's like on a different level, like just wow. But yeah, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, even with the music it was so blended perfectly.
Yeah, Ludwig Göransson, holy shit!
What a talent that guy is.
Did his research, and did it well.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
I think you're right. But in terms of the cast, apart from Michael B. Jordan,
who's great by the way, which just fantastic as both of them,
double
like
the fun.
Great. And they did that seamlessly, visually, like so well done.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that meme that was like, someone is gonna grow up thinking Michael B. Jordan is a twin, like I thought Lindsay Lohan was a twin in Parent Trap, and that just makes me happy.
There you go.
They did so well with it. It's like if you didn't know he wasn't a twin and you were a kid watching this, like you definitely would think, oh yeah, this guy's definitely a twin. Like he just did fantastic.
So well done.
Yeah, there were the rumors going around that the twins were supposed to be played by two different actors at one point, and then B. Jordan just something ended up happening with the other actor. I believe it was what's his name? Used to be Kang.
Oh well, we know what happened with that.
Jonathan Majors?
Jonathan Majors. But we know what happened. But the thing was that is a big ask for any actor to play two roles, especially when you've already kind of established yourself as one, and then it's like, oh wait, you're going to do both now. And like you said, he did it very seamlessly, and he gave both of them different temperaments, and he gave them both different wants, and it's so well put together.
Yeah, I also not to, bury another talented performer. I mean, Haley Steinfeld's great, but also the main actor, I think his name is Miles
Canton.
Yes. What a talent. Like great actor, but oh my God, that voice. Holy smokes. Like Jesus.
The one that played Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this kid was like 16 because he looks very young in the movie. And then as soon as he started speaking, I was like, "Oh my God, your voice is like."
I know, it's so deep,
like of a 70-year-old blues player. Like my goodness, very talented. Oh my gosh, the fact that he can actually sing like that, it's like. Ooh.
And that brings me to probably one of my favorite moments in the entire movie is when he first plays the guitar in front of Michael B. Jordan in the car on the way down.
Face, so good.
And I 100% believe that Michael B. Jordan did not know that he was going to actually start singing and that he was as good as he was. He's like, "Oh, we gonna make some money!" like just the look of surprise and the look of happiness on his face, like that's something that, in particular, I don't think. I mean, a really talented actor could really sell that, but that just looked like a genuine moment of surprise and a genuine moment of, I am so proud of this kid. He's grown up to be this man now.
Yeah.
I think he was acting, but it was good.
Yeah, it was great.
I agree. His response, I feel like, is what everyone's response was in the theater when we first hear him sing. It's like, oh, good for you, dude.
Also, speaking of music, not gonna lie, I love the scene where like the vampires are like playing their like banjo tune.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I love the fact that I forget who it was. I think it was Stack. He's just like in the back, like like he's just kind of kind of into it. And honestly, it was kind of a bop. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know, let him in.
We're all about equality.
It was the first song, like something about stealing from Robin or something like that.
I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I just know we meant the first one or where they were dancing.
No, I think it was the first one where they were actually like playing and performing, like trying to get into the club.
Okay. There's and
then when they were just like, "Fuck you, we're gonna go party out in the parking lot right now," and then play Dublin, which again, that scene was fantastic too. Yeah,
there's man, I wish I could remember the meaning, but there's a meaning behind the song that they sang. I saw it online somewhere. I can't remember, but look it up. it's look good.
It up. Swear it's good. Swear at it.
That's meaning. But man, no, when they're dancing around, I was like, this may get me to go outside with the vampires because this looks like it's a lot of fun. I may be enticed to go out there and dance with them. So the question I have is, what song we'll get you guys to go out with the vampires and be like, yep, it's taking me away. Sorry, taking me away. Mine would be Get Low or Lechona. That's a good one too.
Get Low. Oh my God.
You know, Lechona, I'd be like, oh, sorry, I'm becoming a vampire now. This is my jam.
Honestly, I'm so white. If they did Mr. Brightside, I'd probably be out there.
Oh no, you would.
Yeah, that or if they played Tipsy, I'd probably be out there.
Oh my goodness! See, I would say any of the songs that were played at my wedding would get me to go outside.
You played like 80 songs.
I know,
that doesn't count.
They're all good, but okay. But if I had to pick one, it would probably be Suave. Suave. Suave.
Look, once you get our people going, it's like can't stop us. We'd be all vampires. We'd be all vampires.
And speaking of vampires, I love how they really like kind of embraced the lore, but did it in like a fun way where like they just like weren't taking any shit, like doing the whole invitation thing where it's like, why do you need a fucking invitation to come inside?
Yes.
Like I was like, I
inside
love that.
like nothing.
Yeah, I love that.
That was so smart. And I love too how, you know, historically, unfortunately, people of color are the ones to be killed first in horror movies. And also too, you know, I know for me, I'm like, we're going to get the hell out of here the second I hear a noise, see anything. And I absolutely love that. I can't remember the character's name, but she was like, oh, yeah, he's a vampire. And everyone's like, got it, done. He's a vampire. Close the door. No one questioned her. No one was like, are you sure? How would you know that? They're like, we're not messing around. Yeah. Done.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they also shut down the whole like, oh, well, if we kill the person who made them a vampire, they'll turn back. Like, nope.
No, that's not the way it works.
Don't try.
But also one of my favorite moments as well too is when they find Corn-Fed in the basement, completely drunk off of wine with blood all over him, or so they think it's blood, but it's just wine, and then they toss him outside because they think he's going to be a vampire.
Oh,
and he wakes up, he's like,
up.
guys, what's going on? And I was like, oh, they did mess that up, but it's a very understandable mistake, but it's one of those things where like the second you realize what was going on, you're like, oh shit. But also, not to bury the lead on this one actor, but Delroy Lindo, he was fantastic. God,
also,
I love it.
Really quick, it's cornbread, not corn-fed.
Oh, okay.
And cornbread's the guy that does get bit. He's the one, the one that's.
Oh yeah, no.
He's the one that goes and pees like an idiot and then dies while peeing.
What a way to go!
What a horrible way to go! It's like dying on the toilet. How bad?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm I'm all good.
No, I do love the fact. Speaking of cornbread, the part in the trailer that they showed where you immediately think like where he like goes to bite someone's arm, you think, okay, someone's definitely getting bit. But that scene was so badass where he goes to bite, I think Michael B. Jordan, I forget which character, I think it was
I think it's Smoke.
I think
it's Smoke. But he literally, his reflexes are so fast, he immediately turns his arm and like shoots him in the face. I was like, what a great fucking moment. I was like, and what a great like, you know, way to play with your expectations where you think someone's definitely going to get bit, but no, just lightning fast reflexes. Love it.
But it's also based around the fact that he is suffering from PTSD as well, even to the point where he can instinctively click that side of his brain on. And then the other thing too is because of his PTSD, he can't roll the cigarettes, so he has to get stacked to smoke to roll it for him. Which at the very end, when he's like, you know, trying to even put the damn thing together, and he's like, you know, after he's mowed down the KKK, which, oh my God, that scene,
that was great.
That scene was fantastic.
Focus.
That scene was fantastic. But I do love like the small, like little character nuances that they give for that character as well, including that element of the PTSD where, you know, he's much more physically capable in that sense.
Yeah. And going to that scene, it's full circle in the beginning. Love that the Native Americans are like, ma'am, you have a vampire in your house. If you have a vampire in your house, we can help you. Can you tell us? And as soon as they see the KKK stuff, they're like, never mind, peace out. You don't want our help? Bye. They're like, we're not staying around for us to get bit by these vampires.
Yeah, they're like, we warned you. Yeah. That's basically what that was. I was like, great.
Yes. Loved it. And then, going back to the very end where they're, going to go mess this up for them essentially, and he takes them all out. Oh, such a good scene.
Which also just comes full circle to what they were doing in the very beginning. It was like, wait a minute, you forgot the case? Like, we need that case right now. Like you can't just forget it. It has to be here for the morning. They're like, okay, well, you think that they're talking about like food or beverages or something like that for the bar, and then it's like, oh no, they were expecting company the next day. Like, they've been on this road far too many times over in Chicago to know that somebody is not going to try to fuck this place up. So yeah, I just love how that all came about at the very end as well.
I think what I also love is, when the vampires first show up and they're stuck in the barn, my first thought was, well, easy peasy. All you got to do is not invite them in and stay until morning. This seems simple. But then you get the head vampire, I don't remember what his name is. You get him talking, and he makes some good points when he starts talking of like, look, I understand where you're coming from, and this is going to be a long road for you in the sense of being equals with everyone. Mm-hmm. And this is a easy, fast fix to that. If you come with us, we will have all the power, and we will be the ones to take what we want and not take any shit from anyone else. And so I think it was just such a smart way to make it so that it does seem enticing to go with the vampires. Because if you don't have that, then it's like, well, why would they want to go out? Why would they even think about it? Why all these other things? Like, they're just going to be able to stay in the barn the whole time. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was just very, very smart. Also, screw that lady who invited them in. You were thinking of yourself, and you were selfish, and I hated it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the Star-Lord moment.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. They were threatening her daughter, but also no. No. Just no.
It's like literally, had you waited until dawn, you would that wouldn't have been a problem. They are waiting for you, and the sun is about to come up.
Yeah. Also, I have faith in her daughter. Her daughter was smart. I'm sure she could have figured it out. I'm not going to let these weirdos into my store or my house. She would have been fine.
Oh, yeah.
What do we think of the credit scene, though?
Which one?
Where Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld, they're like in the modern day, and they visit the kid who's now like an elderly man,
the
essentially.
Kid in play suits. Yeah.
I love the 90s look they had. Was it 90s? 90s.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
Yeah, I was like, you son of a bitch, you didn't kill him like I thought you did. No, I really liked it, and I think it was almost I think it was almost them going and telling him like, hey, you've had a good life, but now it's probably going to end soon. So we'll see you around. Wink, wink. Yeah. I thought that was good. Yeah. I really thought he did kill his brother. I think that would have been better, honestly. It's like, you had to sacrifice your brother for the good. Mm-hmm. But instead he's like, nah, just leave quietly, please. Don't tell anyone. Just leave.
I mean, I kind of liked, because I like that scene a lot because him choosing like, no, I don't want to be a vampire. Like, I've lived a good life. I don't want to be around here too much longer. Like, I'm good, and everything. And then I also really I got like emotional, like when his brother was like, after like, he asked him like, do you remember that day? Cause it was like one of the best days of my life before shit hit the fan. And then he's like, yeah, it's like, that was the last time I saw my brother. It's like, that was the last time I saw the sun. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's great stuff. And like, just, I don't know, that moment really hit for me, and I really enjoyed that credit scene. And then I'm assuming the second credit scene, I don't know if you guys stuck around for that one, where you see him young again in the church singing. Like, a lot of people have said, like, I think that's him, being passed away, but now like being in his version of like heaven, of just kind of playing in the church where he grew up and whatnot. I just thought that was a nice little add-on.
Yeah, it was that to me felt like the second credit sequence felt like an end credit sequence, whereas I think the scene with Haley Steinfeld and Michael B. Jordan, I think that belonged in the movie, honestly. But where it is now, it's like, okay, you put it in the credits, but I sort of have like a little bit of a philosophy that if you put something in the credits, it is not necessarily something that is a part of the movie, or not necessarily something that is, it's a completely different, separate entity from the movie, because by the time the credits roll up, no matter if people know to stay or know for people to go or anything like that, someone is going to walk right out. And then
it goes right into the scene. Like there's like pretty much
it's
trans,
like 5 seconds of credits, and then it's like, and this.
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, where it's like the second that a credit rolls up, people are walking out of the theater. That's when you as a filmmaker have told people that your movie is over. And
you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like post-credit scenes are so, for like any movie nowadays, that most people stay after the credits start rolling. I mean, even freaking, what was that horror movie had a post-credit thing? X, or what was it?
Was it Maxine?
It was the one before that. They showed that they're going to do a Maxine movie.
Oh,
Pearl?
I think that was Pearl.
Pearl, thank you, Pearl. That's what I.
I haven't even seen the movie, and I know.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, but the point being is that like every movie has a post-credit scene these days, so I feel like people do stay once it starts rolling.
See, I'm the guy who, if I'm unsure, I just Google it. Does this movie have a credit scene? If I see no, I'm
do
out.
That too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not tapping this shit.
The movies are long.
But overall, I think we all just really enjoyed this one. I think it deserves all the praise it's getting. I'm so happy it's doing so well. That's amazing. I hope it continues to do well and that we get more movies like it. But, what would you guys give it out of 5 pints? Like, where do you fall on this one?
I think I would give it a 4.5. Sorry, Tom. The beginning's just slow. It's not that it's not enjoyable. I'm just
judging your character.
It just could have been better pace. I also think that, which we didn't touch upon, I think it actually would have been better had we not seen the ending of the movie at the beginning, where he's going into the church and he's all scratched up and whatnot. I just feel like it would have been nicer to not, because we don't know who's going to survive. Everyone could have been dead. So I think that probably would have been better without that. So 4.5, still fantastic movie.
All right, 4.5. Andre?
Yeah. You know what? I'm very stingy with my 5, but 5s I usually give to movies that there is not a single person out there that I don't feel that will not enjoy this movie. I mean, well, of course, there's only a certain very, very, very small group of people that won't like this movie. But
I'm just kidding.
Wait, what'd you say?
I didn't say it.
I said Jindoyan.
Oh.
He thought it was okay. He didn't hate it.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to think it's okay, but like, honestly, for me, this is such a well-rounded movie. Everything about it is firing on all cylinders. I mean, just even from the casting, the cinematography, the art direction, Ludwig Göransson's fantastic score. There's not a lot of flaws with the movie. In fact, my minor flaw is that while I don't think the entire film has a pacing issue, I think the ending kind of wraps up really fast at points, but that is a very minor issue. That is a very, very small minor issue. And honestly, I just think the movie is just such an incredible work of art and truly cements Coogler as a visionary director in our modern era. So it is absolutely a 4.5 for me.
That's right. That's right.
You gonna do it?
You gotta say it out loud for the people who are watching.
It's a 5, people. It's a 5. I rarely give 5s. I'm like Andres. I'm very stingy with them. Like, I have to genuinely adore a movie to want to give it a 5. I really just don't have any issues with it. I just think on every front, it just kind of hit a home run, knocked it out of the park for me. And I can't wait to see it again, especially in IMAX. And I just think it's just terrific filmmaking. It's just passionate filmmaking, filmmaking with a vision, with a purpose, with thoughtfulness. And I love that. And it's just also so much fun too. Like, you can be, thoughtful and passionate and also be really accessible and entertaining. The two aren't mutually exclusive. This movie proves that. And I loved it so much. And I genuinely just can't wait to see it again. It's great. It's a 5. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. I said it. Imagine me dropping a mic. There it is.
Oh no, it's my favorite movie of the year so far. Definitely as well.
Even though it's a low bar, it's still very good.
It's still damn good. It's good. It's definitely going to be tough for a movie to beat it right now. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm.
But those are our thoughts on Sinners and Thunderbolts. Let us know in the comments what you think of these two movies. Did you love it? Did you hate them? Did you think they're just okay? Let us know. We want to hear your thoughts. We love the comments. But before we head on out, what did never mind. Brain fart. It's like it's 11:30 at night. I just completely shut down. Where can the fine people find you guys on the internet?
Where can the fine people find you?
Jesus Christ.
PL_Band-Aid on Twitter and Instagram. Over on Cinemojis every once in a while, and Force here in the comments.
There you go. Andres.
Well, you can find me on Twitter as Galaghost, and you can also find me on Instagram.
Yeah, it does kind
you
of
sound like Baby Bane.
You can also find me on Instagram at Galaghost, and you can also find me on the Film on Tab podcast. And yeah.
And no one caught any of that.
Yeah, and not a soul was able to figure out what you were saying. Yeah. And then you guys can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Chattelbash Reviews, Twitter and Instagram at Tom Chattelbash, and T Chattelbash and Letterboxd, if that's your thing. And thank you for tuning in to a brand new episode of the show. Whether you listened to it, watched it, we appreciate it. Thank you for sticking with us. I know the gap was a little bit of a wait between episodes, but we're going to get back on track here. We're excited. This was a really fun episode. So thank you for tuning in, and thanks for watching another episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. See you next time, guys.
Bye.
Hasta luego.